Hi students, and welcome to this class. This morning, I want to start by saying that climate crisis is the most important challenge facing humanity, and we must all take urgent action in our sphere of influence. My role this morning is to demystify issues around methane and CO2. I will start by first saying that methane and CO2 are both greenhouse gases. There's no doubt about that. And of course, there's a need for us to understand some data around methane and CO2. Do you know that methane is responsible for around 28% of positive radioactive forcing? And it means that if we emit 1 ton of methane per year, the amount of methane in the atmosphere will increase by about 10, 1 equivalent to 10. So CO2, on the other hand, emission is taken up by the ocean and biosphere. And of course, much of the remainder of that CO2 sticks around for tens and thousands of years. So the CO2 does not break down in atmosphere, rather it accumulates. So all these things that I'm saying, what it means basically is the fact that, oh fine, we have methane on one side, we have CO2 on the other side. So consider the fact that methane is A and CO2 is B. So the amount of emission that methane is pouring out, maybe in its ton or in its percentage, can further be accumulated within maybe few years. But that of CO2 will take tens and thousands of years. They are both greenhouse gases, but one easily, gets emitted than the other. So which, in terms of, having a preference for the atmosphere, that of CO2 accumulates in the atmosphere, and once we emit it, we are stuck with it. But that of methane, we are not stuck with it. It does not accumulate over a long time. And of course, the amount of methane in the atmosphere depends on the rate of emission. So it means if we are not emitting methane, of course, we can go to 0. But for that of CO2, it's going to take tens and thousands of years. So in the long run, methane is more than 25 times as potent as carbon dioxide at trapping it in the atmosphere. What that means is, of course, we could easily get to do away with methane. It just depends on the number of emission. And if our emission stand at 0, there's a probability that, of course, methane can go to 0. But for carbon dioxide, it will take tons and thousands of years. So that's just the difference. They are both greenhouse gases, but of course, they are both important greenhouse gases. And I'm going to end this analysis by saying that methane is less than 25% of warming since pre-industrial era, while CO2 is responsible for like 50%. But of course, they behave in a very different ways that we need to account for if truly we mean business and we are planning to mitigate each. So if there's any question around this, I'm super happy to take them. Thank you.